Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. This webinar is brought to you by Cardiolog Analytics as well as Microsoft MVP, Goran, who is going to be doing this presentation today.
Excellent. Do you want me to start now?
Yep, you can go right on ahead.
Okay. Welcome everyone to this presentation about statistics in SharePoint Online. We will focus on online because the functionality when it comes to statistics and the on-prem environment of SharePoint is very different. So SharePoint Online has much more functionalities as everything else compared to on-prem and online. So let's dive into this thing. We have some housekeeping rules here. So this session will be recorded. It has already started. And you also have an option to ask questions using this chat function in this session you're connected to. And you can also contact Cardiolog if you want using that chat or by email later on. Okay, so let's go ahead then. The agenda looks like this. I'm going to do a short introduction and then I will do mainly statistics demonstrations and talk about the feature, and then we will have a Q&A session at the end. So let's start directly. The Cardiolog Analytics, it's founded 2005 in Boston, Massachusetts. They are Microsoft Gold certified partners and have been working over 13 years with SharePoint Analytics. And they have some really cool applications that you simply cannot find a matching functionality corresponding to in SharePoint and Office 365. They work with a wide target market area, so diverse industries such as finance and so on. You can read that for yourself. And their solutions work for both SharePoint on-premise and SharePoint online. So it's a really interesting set of products, and I got in contact with the Cardiolog Analytics just because they had functionalities I was looking for but could not find in the standard functionality. Yeah, and worldwide distributors and partner programs, of course. So if you are a company somewhere in the world and you would like to work with Cardiolog Analytics, you can contact them after this presentation. So this is me. Then with my car, my SMTP car, as you heard Melissa saying, I've received some MVPs, 13 years actually, first in Exchange, then in SharePoint, and then Office 365. So basically Microsoft products is my life. It's really what I'm happy to work with, and I do love it, even though there are some things that I maybe not love as much, you know, like everything else in the world. I also written 4 books, 1 about Exchange and 3 about SharePoint, and I stopped writing book for SharePoint after 2010 because when we came to 2013 and Office 365 started to get interesting for companies, the development of new functionality was so rapid, so you could not actually finish a book without it being obsolete already when you released it the first day. So that's why I don't write any books anymore. Okay, let's dive into the actual functionality now so we can see what fun things you can do here. And again, I will stress this is only SharePoint Online functionality I'm talking about now. It's actually, there are some features in SharePoint On-Prem, but basically almost all of I'm showing you now is just for SharePoint Online and 365. You have something called usage. You can use that to get a view or statistics over how a site is used and what type of information they are looking at. So let's switch to one site, for example. this one. This is a test site, and it's just a regular site, nothing exciting about that one. And now you can switch to this site usage. The site usage, it's a rather new feature in I think it was during the spring it was released in SharePoint Online, and it will give you a nice overview over how many people that has visited your site and what documents they have looked at, including web pages. So for example, I can see that this period, this week, last 7 days, if you see this, I had 19 unique viewers, and they have visited this site 2,261 times. So this 19 has been really busy. And we see a trend up here, so 579% rising since last week. And also 19 users is actually twice as much as the week before. So, and I can switch now to the last 30 days to see the trend and the visiting trends for a month or for 90 days. So we can see we have some peaks here, which typically indicate that maybe I had something really interesting on that period that people wanted to look at. But this is like a general visit of the site. So exactly what did they view when they visited this site? So if you scroll down, you can see that the most views we have, or viewers and most viewed, you can see here. So they were looking at these documents. Two of them, two viewers looked at this document, and the rest of the documents was only one viewer. But that page called hamburg.aspx, and that's actually the web page, the default homepage for this site, this was visited 21 times. So you can get the feeling for that one. And then also, as a bonus, you can see at the end of this page, you see all the documents that has been shared with external users. Exactly in what document library and what folder they are stored. So now you can get a good feeling about how this site has been used, and even including external users then. And if I want to look at the document, for example, so let's say I want to open my presentation, I just click on it and that document opens up, and I can see the content in it if there was something there I was wondering about. Okay, so this is like the general statistics. What is missing here, if you think about it, if I open that again, is I don't see who the viewers are. So I can't really say if it was the target group I was actually trying to reach. So that information is not stored. I don't see how long time they took to look at the content here. So I can just see that I have a hit. Somebody opened this page or this document, and that's all I can see, how many times that happened. But you can also get some more detailed information about the specific document. So if I open the presentation again and then switch to the next slide, the usage of individual document. So there's another way of looking at a specific document. So let me bring this back, and then let's say I open the document library and got these documents. So now I can select one of the documents, and I can use the details pane up here. That's one called details pane. And now I will see some content uploaded, but the thing I'm most interested in is this one, 11 views. So if I click that one, I can see for this particular document the number of viewers or the number of times it was viewed and what date it was viewed. So that date, December 7th, it was viewed one time, and that date it was viewed 3 times. And then I can go back to a previous week and compare to that. So that's a nice statistic view for that particular document. If I scroll down, further down in this detail pane, I can see activities. And activities is a good way also to getting a feeling of how, what type of activities, did they edit it? Did they view it? Did they copy it? Did they create an external link or something like that? So that's what you can see with the activity. So 3 weeks ago, I obviously was editing this file. So let's select another file then just to test something. So this file, for example, I can see that was also viewed 21 times. And if I scroll down, and that was also, okay, not much different here. So let's see if we can find some document that actually have some more information. That file was created November 20th, for example. So that's also good to know about what happened to a particular document. But if you want to have an overview, let's say 1,000 documents, well, you need some time to check out everything or every one of them. So, and that needs to, you need to run the document library in a modern view. So, for example, if you switch to classic view, which I know a lot of organizations still are using classic views, you can't see that. So, if you select a document like that, there is no way you can find out all that information. So you need to be in the modern view in order to see that. So you see there is no way of finding statistics here. So you have this one, 5 views. That's the only thing you can see, but you can't see what dates and so on. So that's why you really need to exit classic experience and always run the modern layout for documents. And of course, you already are doing that, aren't you? Because you're a smart guy. Yes. Next thing that you can use for looking at statistics is to see how much space, how large are your files, your sites, your folders. And there is something called a storage metrics. And that shows the current storage required by all of these types of objects. So let's look at it for real then. So I'm going to open the site again, and I need to be a site collection administrator to see this. So I'm going to switch now to site information and then over to view all site settings. And then I have something here. You can see that if I zoom in, the storage metrics there. And now I can see I have a document library called Documents. It contains 456 megabytes of information, and then the others. So it's now listed in the size here, and I can look for a specific document. This one is requiring 4 megabytes and so on. I can also dive into, let's say, a document library. So I open that document library, and now I can see all the folders in that document library. So planning document, for example, is the one that actually requires most, as it seems here, but vendor A is just 2.6 megabyte. And if I go back, I can also see sites. So you see I have some sites here, team site, travel demo, and so on. So let's try the team site and see what do we have here there. So now I'm in the team site, as you can see. and that one has a subsite as well called Mine Manager, but the content is stored in document library, so it's 2.3 megabytes in this document library. And if I open that one, I can see all the documents within it. So there you have all the documents, including their sizes and how percentage of that required space for this one. You can also now jump to the version history. Maybe you realize that this document has been edited many times and therefore requires so much space. So you could open a version history if you want, and then you could, this one didn't have any version, but then you could look at a specific version and then simply delete that. I can't delete now because I just have one version. But that's the information you get. And that is also gives you a good idea and understanding what you and your colleagues are doing with the site. And again, you need to be a site collection admin in order to see these storage metrics. Next thing is this is actually working on an on-prem SharePoint as well. So this is an old type of statistics. It shows you what is known as popularity and search reports. So let's check it out. Going back to this site, and I jump into site settings again. Again, you need to be a site collection administrator in order to view this. It's here. There it is. So when I open this one, I can now see some very basic usage. I mean, if you expect to see something similar like Google Analytics or statistics like that, you will be so disappointed. That's why you need the products this company is providing for you, and we can talk about that later on. I'm sure they can talk about their product. But let's look at the stuff you get. So usage, you see also you have an Excel icon. So when I open that usage report, it says, okay, what do you want to do with this one? Would you want to save it or open? I choose to open that one. And I can see now very basic stuff. I can see the number of hits, the number of unique users. And this is a demo site, so that's why it's not so much fun to look at it, but still you get the idea. When was somebody opening that document, how many times, and so. So this is the usage of the site for daily and monthly report. You have that. So you will understand that you have some periods that maybe this site is used more, or so some times it's used more. Maybe you have published some interesting news article or something on that site, and you want to see if the hit rate increased that one. But you don't see anything else. So you don't see who was it, what did they do with the information. You don't see what kind of browsers they had, or if they, let's say, copied the information, anything like that. So this is a very basic type of report then. So the next one, usage report, is called number of queries, and that is important for the person responsible for the search or information architecture. So let's see if we can try this one again. And it contains no data. Of course, yes, there is no data in that one. So it's not an error. It's a completely correct information. So let me switch to another site then. So I'm going to just open another site here. that hopefully has more content, and it's actually being used, so I need to be careful now with the information I'm showing, so it's not showing something that you should not see. So it's uploading this site, and the bandwidth is a bit slow, so the update is a bit slow. But so let's dive into this site settings again for this site now. And then look at the one I was looking for before. Storage metric is there, popularity and search. Okay, that was not available for that site. Oh, sorry. Okay, we will have to live with this one then, the team site I had before. So sorry about that. So I'm going to go back to my demo site instead. But the thing that I wanted to show you was that when you can see what people are searching for, how many times, what words they are searching for, and that gives you a good understanding, or the intention at least is to give you a good understanding of what people are looking for. Because in SharePoint, search is not the first thing people do. Search is plan B. It's when you don't have the right presentation of content on the web pages and the channels you are publishing information. So it's only when that doesn't work, that's when people start searching. So you need to understand, what are they searching for? Vacation policy, for example? Then you maybe should be making that type of page or document more visible. Maybe you should publish it on the front page of the HR web portal or something like that. So that's the number of queries. But we have some that actually is listing what is search for, and that's these top queries by day or month, abandoned queries by day or month, and then no results queries by day or month, and then query rules. So let's look at them. So let's say top queries by month. So I'm opening this one and see what words did people actually search for this month. And it was not much. Again, this was a bit disappointing. Let's try. Now I know I'm gonna use this one instead. So this site, I think we have much more search in it, and I'm also pretty sure we can see the popularity and search reports here. So finally, we have this site information, view all site settings, and then popularity and search reports. So there it is. Okay, so the number of queries, hopefully we can find something now in this site instead, because this one has been used by people searching. And you see they are searching for this period, and there was actually people searching, but otherwise it seems to be quite a few search. And you know, is this interesting? Well, what you understand is that people are searching, but what are they searching for? So let's check that. Top queries of by the month, and now I will see the actual words they are searching for. Okay, December, November, going back. So now we can see they have been searching for some word like moving to H drive or searching for a site in October then, We have some other words, MFA, Skype meeting in September and August and so on. That was the most popular queries. In this case, for example, it searched 8 times for that particular keyword or search string they used. This one is also interesting, abandoned queries. Abandoned means that they did search, but the results they received was not good enough, so they didn't actually click on any of the results, which means that people in your organization is looking for some words, but they could not find what they are actually looking for. So that's also important for you to understand if you are responsible for the information structure. So let's see. They have been looking for a specific URL, shared documents and contacts. Well, let's see if we have some more. They're basically looking for learning centers, documents, and comparing. Okay, so these are the one. Somebody searched for that string, but they didn't click on the results. So maybe we should change that. No, it's just 4 queries and probably the same person in this case. Otherwise, if it was like 200 people searching, then we may have to think, how should we make this information find a good result? No result means that somebody searched for something, but there was no result at all. That's also interesting. What did they search for? And they seems to they search for the same. It's probably the same person. So that's what no results queries by month. And finally, you have query rules. A query rule is a kind of a rule that defines exactly what you're looking for: a person, or a kind of document or content type, or a video or something like that. So I'm opening the one called query rules here. Have to wait for it to download. So please come on now. So you can see up here it's downloading this one. This is not really statistics if you think about statistics as a way of finding out what people are looking at, but this is more a way of finding out what people are searching for, and this will take a really long time. I'm gonna refresh this page and see what's happening. So, and that takes so long. Okay, but then you could say that, oh, there it comes. Thank you. So we have people searching for Adobe PDF files, and we have a special rule for that. So you can say, I want to search for the word budget, but only if it's a PDF document and so on. So these are the options that you can see now. People are or have a possibility to search for, and you can see nobody has searched for this one, but location in people search and location in SharePoint, so that's more popular. So that has actually been used. So you can now understand if people are looking for example, PowerPoints or PDFs during this period in December. What about November then? Well, it seems to be almost the same here. Interesting that you actually have the same number. It makes you wonder if the statistics is that good actually. But okay, this is the old version, the view usage reports as they are called, and the popularity and search report was their name. I'm going to show you one more time where you could find them. So it's listed down there. So now we have looked for that one, and previously we looked for, at that page. So that's these are the options that is available for for SharePoint on-premise. Yeah, back to the presentation then. So now comes some more interesting stuff. If you have access to the Office 365 admin portal, you have special types of reports you can find out there. And you only need read access. So if some in your organization is responsible for presenting how your 365 environment is being used, they don't need to be a 365 tenant admin. They can only, it's enough with being or getting read access to the portal reports. And that page you will see will show statistics for all the major 365 workloads, as Microsoft sometimes call it, like SharePoint or Teams or Skype or OneDrive and so on. You can see trends if it's increasing or decreasing. And if you select a specific solution like SharePoint, you can see how many files was viewed and how many files were synced and so on. And you can choose the interval of 7, 30, 90, and 180 days. So let's look at this one. And I need to switch now over to the page. So this is the Office 365 site, admin portal, I mean. And now I can find the usage under reports. I can now see that, for example, this date we had this many users using Exchange, OneDrive, and so on. So that's what you can choose to see. And I can say, well, you can click on that one. I don't want to see these. I only want to see, let's say, SharePoint. So I remove everything else. So now I only see SharePoint. I will see SharePoint and Teams. Okay. That's the way you can filter. You can switch to different intervals like 90 days or 180 days, like that. So you get the feeling. And then if you're particularly interested in a specific feature here like SharePoint or Teams, you can just you can view it here, and then you can click on it to open a full report on this one. So now it's just SharePoint in this case, and I see the frequency of usage, viewed or edited, and now it's talking about documents. You can see if documents have been synchronized or not, if they have been shared internally, or if somebody has shared with external users. And these are the documents now. So now you can actually see their names. You can see that Lasse, for example, on November 14th, he viewed 167 files, but he didn't sync any, and he shared 2 of them. He visited 26. But exactly what did they do? Well, you can't see that because it's not showing you. But so this is a way of finding out what people are doing, not exactly what they are doing, but that they are viewing or sharing or syncing some information. So that's what you can see now. If I go back to this report again and usage, and then select, for example, the let's say the Yammer functionality. Say, are people using Yammer in my organization? Well, it was kind of low, but there it was a hit. The number of posts and read and like actions increased during this period. And you see you have different colors here, so you can view that. But of course, you can't see exactly what it was, but you can see again what a specific person did. So you see that that's me. And Thursday, July 19th, I was posted 0 read, and I simply didn't do anything. And if I scroll down and find, oh, that's more, who's the first one then? Oh, strange that my name is showing up twice. But this one, this time in December 3rd, I actually posted 10 10 YAML posts, and I read 33 and so on. So that gives me an idea how much a specific workload or 365 solution has been used. So that gives you a good understanding. Let me switch to another portal. So let's go back to this one, and same thing for this one, because this one has much more information. So in this case we have about 25,000 users, and we can see that we have 36.6 million mail, and it's increasing 8%. The OneDrive files is also increasing from 95 up to a little more than 105 terabytes and so on. The number of files has also increased, so let's look at the OneDrives and see the files that has been who is the bad boys here uploading information. So you can see the names of these people and how many files they have, and how many of them that are active and how much space it's requested. And by the way, you can also export this to an Excel file. So if you want to do a more advanced calculation or presentation with this usage, it can be done. Yeah, finally, I have one more tip for you about statistics in 365, and that is a Power BI report called Office 365 Adoption. In order to view this one, you need to have access to the 365 admin portal. So you need to be a tenant admin, or at least have read access to the tenant admin parts. So now you can take a look at more information, a bit similar like the one we looked at just a minute ago. And let's say we can switch to this one, and then I'm opening Power BI. This report is created by Microsoft, but you need to download it. So in order to use this one, so I'm going to show you how it looks like. So come on, recent, this one, for example. So in order to get this, all these statistics, you need first to install this report. And it's a free one, so you get this from services, get, and then you can search for this Office 365, the search, let's see, okay, it was showing up immediately. So you have this one, so you just get it now, you can download it, and it has no extra cost, it's just to start using it. So it's really handy. So what can we see? If we open this one again, we can see how many active users we had, 92%, and what they are using when it comes to enabled user, active users. MOM, that's mail enable our people using mobile phones, first-time users, and so on. And it's much more. If you go down, you can just see more and more information here. So it's just a ton of information actually that will help you understand how your 365 environment is being used, and not only SharePoint but also Teams or OneDrives or other stuff. So let's say I want to see, for example, the if I scroll a bit to that right, I can see last month how many users we had. If I click on that one, I get more details. So I can scroll down to find more information, actually more than probably I want to know. So it's really giving you a lot of information about the usage of your environment. But you don't see by whom, you just see by workload. So Exchange, Office 365, OneDrive, SharePoint, and so on. So that's what you can see. And again, you need to be, or at least have read access to the portal, tenant admin portal, in order to download that. And you also need a Power BI license, of course, to view that. And yes, going back to the presentation. So if we look at the conclusion, we can say that SharePoint Online offers basic statistics, but you have no way of finding out what people are doing, except some of the reports is actually mentioning the name, but then you don't see what they did, just that they've uploaded files or synced files, but not what files, for example. You also saw me showing the admin portal usage report, which is a nice overview of the activities in your 365 environment. And then finally, you saw me showing the Power BI report, the free Office 365 adoption report. And Microsoft regularly actually update this report and also create at times new reports, and they're all free to use. So don't miss these. They can give you the information you are looking for. And now I'm actually done with the demonstration like that. And I just want to open up now some more information on how to reach out to us. So if you want to get in contact with me or the Cardiolog Analytics, the Intlock company, you have an email address. So you can send an email to him, or you can send, and he will pass that on to me, by the way. You can, of course, use this chat session. You have something called a question session or a question part of this webinar. So you can apply for contact. So we offer you a free one-to-one evaluation session so we can discuss your specific needs and questions. So if you're interested in that, please send an email or send the request in the webinar's question chat, and we will get back to you. And the things we can talk about with you are learn more about your SharePoint usage report, the ones I showed you, and also you can understand how to get more out of the information you receive, how to actually increase and boost the adoption. How do you get your users to start using Microsoft Teams if you, for example, see that the Teams usage is not what you was expecting? And then also you can ask questions with me and Goran, how to increase engagement, and a lot more, like gamifications and so on. So that's a good opportunity, and again, it's free. Just register for this one, and I and Goran will do our best to look at your needs and answer your questions. And I think that concludes this webinar. Maybe Goran or Melissa want to comment on anything?
No, that was really great, Goran. A lot of useful information here for everyone. So thanks to everyone who joined us today, and thank you, Goran, for the informative webinar.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
For us too. Okay,
Thanks.
and everyone at the webinar today, you'll be receiving an email from us with a copy of this if you want to forward it to any of your colleagues, and again, explaining about the evaluations if that's something you want to pass on. So thanks again, everyone, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.